Well, senators just sworn in ahead of the impeachment trial. Joining me now is Senator David Perdue. He is a Republican from Georgia. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. We were talking with the panel here about the whole oath of impartiality. Do you think that this body will go in and be impartial and listen to the evidence and vote on the evidence?
Well, I think you're going to see a dramatic difference between what we conduct in the Senate and this sham you just saw conducted in the U.S. House of Representatives. We take this very seriously. First of all, I personally believe that what we just witnessed in the House was an illegitimate process. They denied the accused basic due process. They had plenty of time to call witnesses and that sort of thing. Now they want us to do their job for them. And I believe right now you're going to hear the House's case. You're going to hear for the first time the president's defense, and then we will move to a period of questions from the Senate floor, from members, and then we'll reach the decision point at that point, what resolutions and what motions we're going to hear. So you'll see a very sober process. I hope it goes quickly because, frankly, I think we're legitimizing an illegitimate process here from the House.
Yeah, what do you think about this prospect of the Senate going in and initially dismissing this obstruction of Congress article and just focusing on the main article of impeachment?
Well, I personally am of the opinion, and I've spoken my piece now in our caucus, that I personally think we ought to dismiss it out of hand right now. It's an illegitimate process. It wasn't conducted the way the founders intended. You just have to read what Alexander Hamilton wrote about it, and you can see they did not do that. Having said that, I am totally supportive of the first phase, doing the first phase the way we did in President Clinton's case, and not addressing witnesses or anything else until we get to the end of this first phase. With regard to either article right now, in my mind, I think we ought to go ahead and hear both cases, give the president to answer to both articles of impeachment.
Yeah, and there doesn't appear to be, Senator, any appetite for this thing to have an outright dismissal. You have said in the past couple of weeks that you believe the Senate should give a fair trial. And in your estimation, what does that comprise? What's a fair trial in your opinion?
Well, see, this is not, it's a special legal proceeding. It has a political dimension, as Alexander Hamilton talked about. And our process right now is to hear the case that was made by the House. The House hasn't made that to the Senate yet. They're going to come do that starting next Tuesday. Then we'll have an opportunity for the first time to hear the president's defense. Then we have every opportunity to acquit, to dismiss, to call witnesses, whatever we desire to get to a proper adjudication of whether these articles, these two articles, not any extraneous articles, but these two articles alone, reach the level of impeachment. I'm personally persuaded right now, based on what I've read and seen, that they do not. Even if they were to make that case, neither of these rise to that level. But we'll see when we have both cases presented.
And when you see and hear about some of this other evidence, and you hear the GAO coming in and saying that the president broke the law, when you hear these Lev Parnas allegations coming in, what do you think of the noise from the outside as we go into this trial on Tuesday, Senator?
Well, it shows how weak the House's case is, number one. Number two, now we hear all these opinions and people who want us to do the House's work for them, to go look at other issues and talk about other things. We'll hear a lot of noise in the next 2 weeks. It's one reason why I hope we will move expeditiously and get both these cases presented. We heard today that will happen, probably in 2 days on each side, and then we'll have a couple of days for questions from the Senate members, and then we'll move to those motions that you're talking about in the earlier conversations about witnesses, and maybe we move to acquit at that point. We'll see.
Georgia Senator David Perdue, good to see you, sir. Thank you.